Hello, it's Dee Maxwell does Posh with Cerys Nelmes. Tonight you've got a very, very drugged up Dee of the legal variety, may I add. We haven't backtracked and went back on the drugs of the legal kind. But we are, however, very doped up with Solpadol, and I've had ibuprofen as well. I'm walking like my gran, and I've already peed myself today, so I'm sure Cerys will love to hear that. Without further ado, let's bring Cerys Nelmes in.
I mean, I don't want to laugh because you did something very good that a lot of us will never do. I'm not talking about the piss part, but yeah, welcome to my world on the wee part. So obviously you went up to old Ben Nevis on Saturday. The weather looked delightful.
It was the worst. It was the
Um,
worst experience of my fucking life.
was it just the two of you?
No, there was quite a lot of us, but obviously we had to go into small groups because
Yeah,
we still get the heavy social distance up here. So
in
there
your
was people
bubbles.
from the same household that went together, and obviously because me and Ronnie, we're part of the bubble, so I could walk with him. Do you know what I mean? So there was a lot of us. Chris Bungard was there as well, my friend from. He does UFC kind of fighting. He's in the Bellator category. And Gary Meikle was there as well, Scottish comedian. So he was there. He bossed it as well, but he said he would never do it again either. You know, he hadn't done any training to it. He just bounced up with Kenny, you know, and he was
Because
ahead of me.
it's a name in it you hear, and you're like Ben Nevis and Snowdon and stuff like that, and you're like, oh, I'll take a little walk up there, but I don't know what Ben Nevis is like.
It's
I
not
need to
even. It's
Google it.
not. I don't even think it's even to do. I mean, it's constant incline, constant. It goes from here to here to here. It never goes here, ever. Ever. And some bright spark, obviously, when they were bored back in the day, they decided it would be a good idea just to, as we're walking up, put lots of rock down to make you a path, which is very good for guidance. But when it's raining and snowing, it's not very good for your feet, you know. And I'm going up there, and I mean, Kenny's name was Mud. Honestly, Kerry, it's what I should have done if it wasn't for the circumstances and how we were doing the claim and what we were doing it for, right? Thanks, Christine. I would have filmed that because that would have been the best comedy I'd naturally done in my fucking life. Hi, baby girl.
There you could, oh, there we go. Look, see, Paul's put it in perspective for me. Snowdon is a core of. I haven't even got a Snowdon, so I don't know. I've got my local little hill over here.
It's the biggest. I kept saying going hill walking, and everybody's like, "D, you're climbing a fucking mountain." And it's the highest mountain. I mean, I went straight from Misty Law, which really only if you stay in Kilburn or your old school will know, thanks, darling, would know where Misty Law is. It's a gradual build. So I went from that fucking hill to this, and I've not called it, it's not called Ben Nevis anymore. Its new name is Dee Maxwell. They renamed it Ben Cunt.
Ben Cunt. Ben Cunt. Has Ronnie done it before?
Ronnie just does it for fun. See, Ronnie wears tops and all that, right? I've obviously trained with Ronnie. We've obviously been backstage together, so we've had like quick changes of tops, and obviously because he's got no boobs, he can. And Ronnie's really, really, very, very well built. He just hides it under all because he's not a showy guy. He's not. I mean, he's funny and he attracts women from all angles, and he's just like, oh my god. But he's not that type, if you know what I mean. He's not one for bumming about himself. Yeah. But he's buff. He's buff and he's fit. I mean, he was up and down that mountain. I mean, it was dead funny because once I eventually got to the top, right, which took me longer than most. There was a couple behind me, but not very many. And I was getting to points, and this wee guy, Colin, was like left me, right, and had never experienced the Dee off screen. Now, the Dee off screen isn't all chuckles and laughs. She's an anxiety-ridden mess who doesn't respond well to doing things that she doesn't fucking want to do. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going up this mountain, and this guy's trying to keep me, you know, and he's trying to like giggle. But at this point, I'm fucking like that. I fucking hate everybody who made me. And I was screaming. I mean, honestly, I was on the mountain, right? And at one point, I just kicked this massive rock halfway across it. And I was, fuck this! I'm not fucking doing it! I'm not fucking doing it! And this wee guy's like, but you are doing it. You're going to do it. You're going to be fine. And I swear to God, then I got to a point, and I'm like, looking at him, panic attack, fucking blown into a bag. This guy must have been like, what the hell have I been left with? And I was really sick. And then I got to the top, and Ronnie went like that. Oh, Dee Maxwell Cerys, and I'm shouting, fuck off!
Don't I want to speak to you again? Well, that's like people are saying there. None of us are probably ever going to do it in our lifetime. I mean, I walked her path of seat twice. Don't tell Cerys. Ronnie said you look like. Ronnie said said you look like Myra.
I looked like Myra Hindley in the last show. I'd done all my hair. I was actually feeling good. It was just when I got the abusive texts from the ex that I've been threatened not to mention his name. But anyway, I got all those abusive texts, so I'm trying to make an effort. And Ronnie just goes into full comedy mode, and I said I look like a Marilyn Monroe, so I would say more like a Myra Hindley.
Yeah, I'd have gone full Myra Hindley on his ass if that had happened. So there we go. Highest peak in Britain, modern UD. You've done it now. Which part of the body hurts the most?
Take your pick.
All of it.
No, it rained for the minute
body
to the left. Yeah, it rained for the minute to the left to all the way up to all the way down, right? So don't get me wrong. See the boots. I'm so glad I get new boots because I didn't have one blister, and they were amazing, and it was well worth having to spend the kids' dinner money to get them. So bearing in mind, none of these guys were sponsored. None of us took money out the pot. A lot of people hadn't ever hiked, really. And we all had to buy new kit and new stuff. I had to buy waterproofs, everything. Arthur's seat is a canter compared to.
I can imagine. And that was bad enough. The first time I did it, I'm like, I'm never doing this again. And then I did it again, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
No, it was solid, Cerys. It was solid, and I'm not going to lie. Everybody didn't lie about it. It was the most solid thing, and I never enjoyed it for 1 second in the way up. And I think what makes it more difficult is it's very boring. We see the way the walk is. It's so boring. There's no really much change in the terrain. It's all stones all the way up, and then we hit snow, Cerys. Snow that was covering the path, right? And then now Dee's never really hiked up much hills, never mind a fucking mountain. And then they're like, just feel your fit. Just feel your fit. And it makes sure the staying sturdy. I went, well, no playing five-a-side football. We're in the top of a fucking mountain. And you want me to feel my fit? How about you feel your fucking fit?
Because you've been training and like you run, you've walked for. I can imagine most of the muscles are kind of like ready, but they're not for that scale of.
See, even all the hikers told me you'll always go stiff. It doesn't matter how much you condition to it, but not the way I am. I actually couldn't get out my bed yesterday. That takes me to the peeing story, Cerys, right? So today I thought I'll beat Dee. I heard you met Gary Miko at the top. Should get you two together. Yeah, I met Gary. I'm aware of Gary's friends, other friends, but that's the first time I've met him, and I have to say he was lovely.
Yeah, so, I was in Oz with Gary. Lovely bloke.
Yeah. He's just like me. He just keeps his one train, keeps his own camp, and he works with people, but he just stays. He doesn't do the whole friendships. He just stays one track because it's easier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was really nice. He was a lovely. I follow him on TikTok anyway because I love the one with his wee grandchild and all that. Most people do him in Rose before Nevis, so someone to do that the first time was an awesome achievement. And Jill walking and snowboarding, well
done. So you pissed? Did you say you pissed the bed?
Yeah. So this morning was I look at the delight in your face, you wee bitch. So you forget, don't you? You're lying down, you ask for work, and you wake up and I check my emails and do all that, and then I go down the stairs for the pee. But usually I've left myself so busting I've got to practically run down the stairs. But of course, Dee, that can't walk down the stairs now, so I'm standing at the top, right? This is the funniest story ever, right? And you couldn't even write this, you couldn't make it up for comedy effect. And I'm doing the whole quenching and dancing and then trying to sidewalk down the stairs, right? Loses my footing, gets a fright, pisses myself, and the pee lands in my hair. Because I fell over, hit over arse.
Because you got no knickers on either, have you?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Because mine would have to go through my thermal knickers and my thermal pajamas before it actually entered the world.
No, mine's like Free Willy, only it was free vagina.
So after your monumental walk up Ben Nevis, you pissed all over yourself. This is the people say, how do you come up with these stories? How are you so funny? And you're like, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen to me. It's just gonna happen. There's no made up shit here. It's better talking about the stuff that's happened than making shit up that's not happening.
Because I was actually on the phone to my sister Michelle all week, and she's like, "Look, don't do this. Your anxiety's through the roof. What are you?" And I'm like, "She said, I really want you to do it, and I know you will do it." She says, and I honestly didn't anticipate the physical and mental struggle. See, the physical and mental struggle I went through the last hour to get up to the top.
Yeah.
And do you know what? See, even getting to the top, I didn't feel euphoria. See, because I'm an empath, and I was going up there to the highest point in the world for somebody that's at the lowest point in their life and leaving the world, I just couldn't feel the euphoria because I'm such an empath. I thought I couldn't be like, so, oh my God, I've done it, because the reason I was doing it. Do you know what I mean? So that was a bittersweet for me, because
it wasn't an achievement for you. It was raising money for something else, and that it doesn't.
And 11K so far, £11,000, guys.
That's
so
brilliant.
For all your donations,
That's brilliant.
So they've raised massive amounts of money elsewhere. I mean, obviously everybody's heard about this fundraiser because of me, but Tesco's have done one. Her friends have already done loads of stuff, and as I said to Ronnie, it's now her time, because she's still here, you know, and she's still aware. So it's like they're setting up foundations, but they obviously don't want that out there too much because she's still here.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was a bittersweet for me, if I'm honest, because I'm such an empath and I'm a mother, and you don't put yourself in these shoes because you could never be in these shoes. But
no.
it just took the buzz off it, but I swear to God, see that climb up, see if it had been any other circumstances, I'd have went, look, whoever you can get up here as a film crew, but I'll tell you, this will be a Netflix bestseller. I was screaming at this guy, you love this guy, right? You know how they'll lie about how long it takes to get to the top, right?
Yeah.
So I was like 3.5 hours in, right? And I knew it must have been half hour. At least there was no way it was another hour in my mind. That's what I was thinking, right? So the guys lacked me, and that's about another 2 hours. And I swear to God, I don't know where it came from. I went, listen, mate, I'm doing this for charity and I wouldn't be up here. So you better be telling me the truth. He's like, it's about an hour, 15 minutes, sorry.
I lied just a lot less than that. I thought if I made it sound more, it'd be better when you finished. I understand what because I don't know whether I told, we did a walk once for comedy, and we walked from the BT Tower in London to Portsmouth, which is 100 miles, but it was 25 miles every day, and then we did a gig every night over 4 days. But that's mainly flat. And the guy that was running it, he's like, you need to get yourself some proper walking boots. So we got all the kit and stuff like that, and then quickly realised that most of our walking was on the road, which would have been better in trainers, because walking boots give you blisters and shit like that when you walk up. So every day we were finishing, we had blisters all up our legs. We couldn't move, and like you said, we couldn't move my legs just from walking pretty much flat. My legs, so I can't even imagine what walking up a mountain would be like. But I still drive, if I drive into London now or Portsmouth or through any town or village we walk through, without even realising, my stomach will go over and I feel physically sick. And I'm like, well, why am I feeling ill all of a sudden? I'm like, oh, because we walked through here. And they're just memories, flashbacks.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm doing Ben Lomond in a couple of weeks with my friends. I do like it, but I knew that was too much for me too soon. You know, I knew that's what the anxiety was killing. And because obviously, and Ronnie doing the live, and Ronnie did say to me on Friday night, Dee, I didn't realise how much this was affecting me. Listen, just don't come. I went, no, I'm committed now, and I know I need to come. I hadn't slept the whole week. I mean, in the group chat, I was just like, everything was a moan and an obstacle. And I honestly, twice at the top of that, see when it got to the snow bit, although I'm laughing when they said just feel your feet, I hit heavy panic. I just thought, and then I just burst out crying. I was like, I can't do it anymore. Like, and the wee guy is with me is just like,
it's a good job I wasn't there doing it with you because we'd have moaned our way down. We'd have either never got on the mountain in the first place, or we'd have moaned so much they would have killed us.
The first time that I'm so glad that, you know what I mean, because I think it would have put me in a poor light if Gary and Nico had got to meet me under those circumstances and went and climbed the whole mountain. He'd have went, fuck her being racist, she's just a complete cunt.
She's a moaning bitch. I like that. Oh, bollocks. I'm going to say on that note, where did you piss? On the mountain?
Where did I get to?
No, where's the toilets on the mountain?
Wait, where do you stand?
No.
So I had to go like that. I mean, even obviously, because the restrictions are not completely lifted, so the public toilets at the place weren't open. So I was away down when we just arrived, finding a bush to do a pee with a wee napkin. And then up the mountain, I had to pee a few times, especially on the way down, because you've water loaded and made sure you've got loads of water in you. And the way down, I had to just go, guys, can you walk on? And I would go and do a pee. But you know, the couple of people that I was left with was Ronnie and Marie. And I know, well, I don't know Marie so well, but I know Ronnie really well. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't have been comfortable in front of anybody. I mean, Ronnie do all the jokes and that. He's a really true, good friend. So I'd no ask for it. He will joke on Wednesday and say that he peaked and all this shit. I know for a fact he will. You know what I mean? But he's talking absolute shit.
Beef curtains.
Oh my god, where do I go? I was like, just turn away at a day.
You know what I mean? You didn't have to have a shit.
No, thank God.
That would have been me. I've never weed outside, and I constantly need a shit. So I reckon I'd have to wear an adult nappy. Because the thought of being up at so it's pissing down with rain, freezing cold, shitty visibility.
-3 at the summit.
Are you joking?
-3 at the summit, and there's this wee stone, right, that they all get the pictures to just prove that you're at the summit, right? And it was literally like 2 footsteps and a sand shoe away from me, and I was just like, fuck it, I don't care. I'm absolutely Baltic. I'm on the top. I'm just not next to that, and I don't give a fuck. Take my picture here and get me the fuck off this mountain.
See, there's no way I'd have got my piss flaps out at -3. That's the thing for me. Look, I'd have been like, I'd have had to go to the toilet before we started going up, and then probably
there
4
was
or 5 times
toilet,
on the way.
no toilet. The public toilets were closed because obviously you're not really meant to be there. But that's another thing. Now I'm talking about hiking up it in the state of me. There was people that are local there that were jogging up it. I was just like, and they're like they wouldn't a psychopath. Beep beep. I'm like, where the fuck is it you want me to go? You know, I'm just like, beep beep. There's 3 of you. Don't talk stupid. Do you want me to just hang off the side of the mountain so you get past me? You're fucking maniacs. And they're probably like tourists. And I'm like, well, your head's empty.
I don't mind walking. Me and Cal like going for stuff like this. And the last time we went on holiday together, we went to Calpe, not Calpe. Is it Calpe? Yeah, just like near Benidorm.
Yeah,
right. It's got a big like rock going out into the water, and people kept going. Oh, you can walk around the rock and go and watch the sunset. So we're like, oh, okay, cool. So we all walked up there one night, and Mum didn't come. And you go walk through they cut a path through the rock, so you come out the other side, and then people you just follow it round, and you end up on the top. Oh my fucking good God! So we start walking, and I'm telling you, no word of a lie, the ledge goes from that to that. No fence or anything. So we're having a look, and people are like crawling along like that. And we got so far, Callum tripped, and I was like, nah, we're going back. No. I was like, who in their right mind is telling people that this is a walking fucking path? And then we looked up, and there was a family of 4 with their 2 kids that had climbed up. And I'm like, how I've not heard any stories about people falling off that cliff before, that rock before. It's unbelievable. Yeah, we got videos of it because I had my GoPro.
Well, there was an older guy, and I presume it was his child or grandchild. And his child must have been about 8, the same as my crew's right now. For a start, there'd be no way my son would be up there. I don't care what anybody says, right? That's not a mountain for kids. I don't care how inexperienced climber you are. Yeah. Unless your kid is so savvy and definitely stand by your side, there is absolutely no way, unless they're older, that they should be on that mountain, and I don't care who disagrees with that, right? Because it's no chance, right? But there's people has died in that mountain. I mean, I opened up my rucksack because my friend Nikki made it up for me, who is a hiker. She does that for fun. And I opened up my bag, and it was the big. She gave me the big Bergus one. So it's apparently you've got to have a proper hiking bag, because if you don't, the weight all goes back, and if it's just a normal rucksack, it takes all the weight on your back, and it's worse. So I opens up, and what's in it? An emergency shelter.
I thought you were
Now,
going to
if
say
that wasn't
a couple of
fucking
house bricks.
anxious enough, 4 pack of fucking trackers, a packet of plasters, and an emergency fucking shelter. I'd never been on the phone quicker to her in my fucking life. I'm like, why have you got an emergency shelter in that? But she obviously heard the panic in my mouth. She said, oh, I'm just laughing with you, Dave, but keep it in there, right? And then we went all the way up the mountain. And all the way up the mountain, and Ronnie's like, I mean, half of these guys will not be informed. I mean, there's folk died on here, and there can be snowdrifts, so sometimes you need to batten down and have an emergency shelter. And I thought, it's a good job that you're looking after me, but it's well a good job you didn't tell me that, because I would have not been fucking up there.
That's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
Terrifying. And it was at times, it was very, very terrifying. And I'm not mentioning the guy that did it the week before, but some of them did it the week before with him, right? And he took them down like off beaten track. He was just like, well, that's like a shortcut. And it was like, but he's an adrenaline junkie. I mean, if he said to me, that way's quicker, I said, yeah, to death.
Yeah, exactly. On your own, lad.
You're an experienced adrenaline junkie, but there's absolutely no way. But you know, they made it all right and fine, but I wouldn't have been taking the risk, because one of the girls said, I have to tell you that's a shortcut. I said, well, you can pass on to him. Fuck you. You know what I mean? And I was coming down the mountain with Ronnie, and I'm going, for fuck's sake, how much longer? He says, I don't know about you, Dee, but see if you look down, I can fucking judge it.
Yep. Fucking longer. I'm in those situations. I'm one of these people that just go quiet. Like you said, people expect you to be this same person all the time. But I swear, if it's raining and I'm doing something like that, I'll start up all like, and then I'll be like,
no, I didn't even start off with that. Kenny was doing a wee team chat builder at the beginning of it, and I actually had to bite my lip, because I was about to say, is this fucking school excursion? Can we just get up this fucking mountain, mate? You know what I mean? And I messaged him, and he's like, I bet you my name was Mud. And I think he was half joking, because I'm the honest friend. I went, Kenny, there wasn't a nice word that joined to your name the whole way up that mountain. And Ronnie didn't have a nice one either. So I wasn't being prejudiced. The two of yous were getting it.
You're lucky. Lucky you're still alive. I'm saying this, like, doing stuff like that. Do you ever watch that SAS, like Celebrity SAS survival shit?
I read it. It's actually one of the boys who's a personal trainer. Terrible. There was loads of guys there. He was a lovely boy. I can't remember his first name. He works with Kenny, but he actually, when I was in the group chat getting dead excited, Ant Middleton, that's the guy that does this SAS. Exactly. But you know what? I think he's good looking, but see if he spoke to me like that, I think I'd get my gangster pals out to take him away and torture him.
Really?
Yeah, I don't mind it in a wee joke, but he's quite, you'll do it.
He makes about 30 million a year on all his endorsements and his books.
Mate, get a couple of years and I'm halfway there. Look at the guns. I could model magazine shot. I mean, look at that. I didn't
new guns. But you've been doing this the last couple of weeks. Yeah, but I always watch. So I like Ant Middleton. Like you said, I don't know how personalities like me and you would go on there and have somebody.
Yeah, I know he's a big scary dude, but I wouldn't care. My point of madness. I mean, I've had people with water guns in my head, right? And I've not actually cried or went, please don't shoot me. So if he talked to me like that, I wouldn't care what status of what army he was in. I'd have wrapped it on him and flung him in the water and then ran away.
And then ran away. I said the last series had, is it Anthony, the boxer, Tony Bellew? Yeah, Anthony. Did you watch it?
No, I must admit I didn't watch the last one, but I was in the peak of lots of gigs and stuff.
Yeah. He came very close. Like they'd have close-ups of his hands when, like, so his hands are down by his sides, but when one of them was shouting in his face and his hands were like this. next to his body. And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh my God.
I start doing that when I'm getting really angry. And it's like chewing my lip off because it's like my friend used to go, let's get the fuck out of here. Like, why? Get her the fuck out of here. Like, why? She's chewing her lip. And a lot of folk that didn't know me, what the fuck are you talking about? And nobody would listen to the warning signs, then there'd be complete carnage. And they're like, told you.
I like how somebody knows the warning signs. I mean, my mum's warning signs here are a little bit different. So when she's in a bad mood, she starts whistling. So if she's in the kitchen and she's like, me and Callum are like, what's happened? Like, was that you? Have you put her in a bad mood? She's in a fucking bad mood. What's going on? What's happened? Yeah, so she just starts whistling. And she's still here. She was going to go home this week, but decided not to bother. Yeah. Wait. We were talking about. Eh?
Just get her up here and I'll go, listen, you've got 5 minutes to leave the Big Brother house. You've been evicted.
I've got you. She came in today. There were bags downstairs. She went, "What's this?" I was like, "I'm just fucking back in your car for you. Fuck off." I had to drive. I've been allowed out this weekend. I went all the way up to Manchester in my little motor. The longest I've driven in like 6 months. The longest I've been out of the house. I had to go and see my sister. Now you'll enjoy this. To take. My mum's got a smart car.
Okay.
So I had to drive up to my sister's to take a car full of shit that she's accumulated in the last 4 months of living here. So all her online purchases and her winter clothes that she had, and obviously now she's got her summer wardrobe that's been delivered. So I had to take up all mum's stuff that she's not going to be able to fit in the car to my sister. So then when mum eventually goes home, my sister can take it over to her, so she's not leaving shit everywhere here. That was my weekend, delivering my mother's shit all over the country. And then I popped down to see my friend Lou Conran in Leek on the way home, and we had a Chinese, and it was lovely. And it was just so nice to see.
Sorry, did you see that boxer? What did you say his name was? Can you remember?
Anthony Bellew? Tony? Anthony.
All right, it's just obviously somebody had said something I'd angry, but it's all right. It's not.
Yeah, Anthony, is it Bellew? Bel? Yeah, Anthony, Tony, him. Oh, hello. I would. Oh, look at him.
Oh.
Oh, hello. Yeah, no, I would.
I find it dead hard because I was up mountain with Chris Bungard, you know what I mean? And I need to stop saying that I don't find him attractive because I think he's actually annoyed about it. But I think because you come into a friend zone, you don't see him like that, right? And then for a while, he had this mate, Paul Beardew, I think he's called, and he's UFC, and I swear to God, an absolute 12 and a half, and I'm not kidding, right? I mean, absolute. But then Chris talks about him, and then I feel as if it's familiar. Now I'm like, fuck's sake, man.
I like this.
Have a secret fucking fantasy that doesn't come into your life.
I like that. You rated him a 12. What would you rate yourself out of 10?
Me?
I know you'd be
10.5.
There you go. I'd be like, 6 for me. Ooh, thereabouts.
I'll need to actually send you the messages because I was super bored this morning. I know how you got all the boys for the United States and that Navy going, hey, babe. You know what I mean? So
no, never had them.
All right. Okay. Where
did they message?
They messaged my fan page.
Oh, I've got a fan page. No, not ever received any of those. But carry on, you know.
You're not shaving your legs and you're probably not talking about your vagina as much as I do.
No, definitely not. Don't talk about that at all.
I talk a good sexual story right from the beginning to the end, and you know, guys are fickle. So that, but it was like he messaged, hey babe, right? And you know, this morning I was just struggling because I was raging because I knew I was not capable of getting out my run, but I really wanted it for my head. You know what I mean? So I was like, ah. And so this guy's like, hey babe, you're so gorgeous. And normally I just block. And I was like, I know. I mean, actually, I'm a rising 10 and a half. I says, and see when I look in the mirror, I actually have an orgasm. So I thought that would end it. Even if he's American, he's not fucking stupid, right? I'm not going to typecast him. It's not fair, right? So then he hits back with, trying to remember, I wish I'd actually printed it out so I could read it to you, but I'll send it to you, right? And so he hits back with, oh, where did you get your face? What's your real name, babe? Right? And I went, I can't believe this. And he says, I'm from Kentucky, blah, 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 right? So I goes like, oh my God, you are joking. It's fate. We must get married. I love Kentucky Fried Chicken. Now, I thought that would have been it. And he's like, oh, the stars have aligned. And what's your real name? So I'm just like, Senga. Right? So then he starts saying comments. I can't remember the whole way about you. I'll send it, right? But he starts sending like, wait, the stars have aligned, and I can't wait to fall into your arms, Senga. And he's like, we're meant to be. I want to continue chatting. I was like, I can't wait to present my vagina to you, Brandon. You know what I mean? And he's like, oh baby, and I'm just like, and he still fucking like sends me his email and goes, let's stay in touch. I'm like, what for? Do you want my credit card, mate? Because there's no way you don't know for a second that I'm not taking the cunt right out you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm glad I can't believe how many fucking dickheads there are out there. Like, do you know Daisy May Cooper, who's do you ever watch This Country? So she's had one recently and she's put it all on Instagram and it's fucking hilarious. The sea captain, and she's had people like Jake Quickendon making songs up, and then he'll message some other celebrity and they'll message her and go, sea captain's messaging me. And she got to the point where she pretended she was at the airport going to see him, and he's like, no, get back on the plane. No, I'm at work. Oh, I'm working like bomb disposal. I've just been blown up by a bomb. I need an operation because my arm's falling off. Oh yeah, and honestly, it's gone on for weeks, and it has been so funny. But I was going to say then, how stupid do you think we are? But clearly, some people fall for it.
Oh man, come on! I mean, obviously, as well as right, we can separate the art and we've got to know each other. But in fairness, the stage comedy, the lives, the ones I do during the day, the uncensored stuff, she just looks like a cock-hungry maniac. So I understand why people are like, I'm going to pump Posh, you'll not think about me twice. You know what I mean? But I just, sometimes I get them and they can between 10 anything from 10 to about 30 a day, averagely, right? And I'm just like, yeah, mate, I know apparently I'm funny. I don't know how that happened. I think I was born that fucking way. It's a nightmare, son. But thanks, darling.
Something you learn.
But yeah, it's a fickle thing, isn't it? And I don't care how desperate you are. You know when it's a fickle thing, and sometimes you just take it up because it's better than being on my own. And I've got to an age that I could never do that.
I know. I always remember back in the day where I had a couple of mates that would always go abroad on holiday, and they'd always come back and they're like, "Oh my God, we've been to like Barbados, and I've met like this man, and I'm going back over to see him, and he's going to come over here," and you kind of just want to say, "What you doing, dickhead?" Because he's just after whatever the fuck he's after. And then my friend, the only way it finished, or she like the mist cleared from her eyes, is that obviously they were writing to each other back in the day when we had letters instead of emails. They were writing together, so the envelope was addressed to her, and inside the letter was addressed to somebody else. So he'd obviously mixed up the two letters. So she's like, "Who's this?" And I'm like, "Well, that'll be one of the other people he's writing to, asking them to send money for his airfare, etc."
Someone very close to me had I would say a midlife crisis right after they get divorced, right, and started going to Turkey every year, right, and they were older, right, and they came home, and it's not that I'm saying this person's not attractive, because they are, right. However, these Turkish boys that they showed me pictures of, as well, they were called Yusuf and Mustafa, but Yusuf was spelled Jesus, so I used to just call him Jesus, right. I'm like, oh, it's Jesus phoning you the night when they cared that you bought him. You know what I mean? And then the other one was called Mustafa. So I used to say, oh, is your Mustafa shag phoned you the night? You know what I mean? So, and they were totally deluded. They were in their 50s. These boys were like 25. How's he able to phone you every night? Because she's paying the phone cards. You know what I mean? She's sending money to him I know, but he doesn't ask. He doesn't ask. No, he
No,
might laugh. He drops all the things, and you're that gullible because you've got to an age you're thinking, oh, this young boy definitely fancies me. No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I've had my fair share of holiday romances, because apparently I'm like 10 times more attractive abroad than I am in this country. And do you know what, Dee? I have got beautiful eyes, I've been told. You know, when one tells you it, you're like, oh my God, nobody's ever said that. Oh my God. I was like, nobody's ever said that. And then after the fifth person, you're like, oh, that's the line you use. And I fucking fell for it. But I've like had a couple of that's me, yes, Siri. Oh no, she's not talking about that. I've had a couple of Tunisian boyfriends, who I went back to visit on more than one occasion, and that's because I couldn't really get anything back here. So I was like, well, at least I can have a holiday while I'm going to see them. I didn't send them any money. I didn't give them any money. I was just going back and forward and meeting their families and stuff like that. And it was all very innocent. But like I said, it's only when I go abroad. But I like, as much as I love it, like especially when used to go to Tunisia, right? Me and mum's got dyed blonde hair, right? I always had long black hair. So for me, they didn't look at me because they're like, our women have got long black hair. So mum would get the attention from, honestly, just wouldn't leave her alone. Of course, she loved it. And I'm like, mum, they're taking a piss. Like don't have a laugh with it, but like don't take it seriously because they're just taking the mickey out of you. But yeah, the only time I think I've ever really had much is on holiday.
I mean, really, I could get them done when I think about it now, right enough, because I was 15. But anyway, I was on holiday with my friend, and I think they were called Jerome and Frank, and it was Frank I was with. He was Dutch, but he looked like, do you remember Top Gun with Tom Cruise? He didn't look like Tom Cruise. Do you know? You remember what was the one they didn't like?
I know what you mean. Paid by
Val Kilmer. Steve Val Kilmer. See his friend that had the dark hair and the sunglasses that was always with him.
Yeah.
That's who this guy that I went with at 15, he was a pure hottie, but I was 15 and naive, do you know what I mean? So really he was the adult, and he didn't speak a word of English. We hardly understood each other, but it was a good night.
No, I said my one of my favourite stories is we used to go. I went camping with my friend and her family into Newquay in Cornwall, and we were about 15. And she is beautiful, just good looking, slim. I love just a really nice looking girl. And then there's me, probably wearing a rugby shirt or something. I don't know what I was wearing back then, football shirt. So there's these. Obviously, you go down the club, don't you? When you're younger, you're like, oh, hey guys, it's good. People playing pool. There was a couple of good-looking lads there, and obviously they took a shine to my mate. And then, like, you could see one of them looking at me, going, "No, I'm not even taken up for the team." And they invited my mate to this beach party, but she was quite sort of stuck up and like didn't want to join in or anything. So she was like, "No, I'm not interested." So then that opened the door for Cerys, and that's the only time Cerys would get a look in, as if good-looking friend wouldn't want any, so then they'd look to ugly mate. So
I don't even know why you keep fucking saying ugly. It really irritates the life at me because there's fuck all ugly about you, asshole.
I come in and scoop up. They want the dregs, and I come in and I'm grateful. So my mate, she's like, I'm going back to the tent. I'm like, okay, and she lent me a hoodie to wear, a zip up hoodie, and we went to the swings, and it was the first time I'd wanked off a bloke, and his spunk went all up the sleeve of a hoodie. So I just handed it back to her in the morning, all nice and damp. So she was kind of involved.
Oh my good giddy aunt. Evening, lovely ladies. But yeah, I mean, I just actually, I don't know. I just, that time I didn't even think about it. Thinking about it as an adult now, I'd be horrified that my daughter had been 15 and went out and slept with this Dutch guy, and I think he was 28 or something. Do you know what I mean? So You know, and we were totally in love because see when the bus was leaving and they were waving us away, we were both, oh,
Exactly.
you know what I mean? We're never going to survive it and move on.
I was the first time I was single on a French exchange trip, and obviously when we were leaving them, all the girls were like, we love you, Pierre, we love you, oh, we love you. I think I had 3 on the go at once. One was called Laurent, one was called Philippe, and the other one was called Maxime. See, it was hot property back in 1992 when I was 14. Me and Lou Conran were talking about this last night.
Yeah.
Huh?
I said, yeah.
Yeah. We were discussing some of the sexual escapades we'd got into when we were younger, and we were fucking horrified. Like these stories that we were telling, and I'm like, I can't believe some of the stuff that we had done back in the day. Because now, like 20 years on, you're like, what?
I'd be horrified if I thought my children had done a fraction. My kids will tell you that's why my oldest hates my comedy as much, right? Because she's like, you're giving it out, you're all this big power to the people. I get grounded for if you thought I'd sniff glue that just because it was in my bag, you know. So it was like, I'm very, very strict. I'm a very strict parent. I've got a standard and it's a tier to, and there's loads of love. But Cruz is wrecking every one of those boundaries. You know what I mean? He just does not care. I mean, he said to me this morning, he said, you're going to have a word with yourself. And I went, sorry? You're going to have a word with yourself, because see if you get up in the morning again and you just start going on about the mess in my room, I'm just going to take a hammer to my drawers. And I went, what's the logic in that? He says, well, you can't shout at me to put it in my drawers if I don't have any.
He's his mother's son. That's my mum.
I was telling my mum, and mum's like, wonder who that sounds like. Wonder who that sounds like. And my sister's the same, because when I was younger, because my mum used to say things to me like, put the kettle on, and I'm like, doesn't fit me. You know what I mean? My mum says, I don't know why you keep arguing with them, because when you were younger as well, I would say and think, right, she's away doing what I told her today. I don't give a shit what she's mumbling under her breath. But I'm terrible for like, what did you say? Get back here. You know what I mean? Even if they're going to do what I've asked them to do, because it's like Sienna constantly, when she's taking it off, and she's at that age now where she's starting to hate me. So we're going through that process that Charlie's only started liking me again. So we've got a wee while yet. You know what I mean? But she says a lot to me, shut up. And I think it's the ultimate disrespect for a child to tell their parent to shut up, right? That's how strict I am, right? That's how strict I am.
And she said to me, ever said that to me.
I said to her, because she said it to me today, I said, you say that to me again, and there'll be serious consequences. And she just went like, well, you're annoying me. And I'm like, I said, you know what I'll annoy you with? I'll delete Fortnite. And then I said to my son, obviously, because he was going about the message room, and I said to him, you've got 3 hours to tidy this room, because that's what it's going to take to my standard. And see if you've not tidied it, see that PlayStation right there that I've threatened to throw out the window a week. I'm taking it into my room for a week, and you're not getting it. I've never seen a cleaner room.
What's this, Linda? Like parenting tips with Dee and Carrot.
Don't listen.
I always used to like this, because my friend has got a kid pretty much the same age as Carl. We were both single parents, and she'd have a fucking hell of a time with him. And I'm like, she said, what do you do to like discipline Callum? I was like, well, I kind of don't really need to, because he doesn't really do anything wrong. And she said, I got my lad to go to bed the other day, and I keep saying to him, you better not be watching that telly. Like, you're playing on your computer. Like, you have an hour before you go to bed, and that's it. I went in there, he was bloody watching it. She said, so every time he does it, she cuts the plug off. And I was like, right. And she went, well, of course. So there's only so many times I can do it. Before then, the plug won't ever reach into the plug socket anymore. And I'm like, but that's going to cost you money. And they're like, what are you doing, you fucking psycho? Yeah, he would run out the house, he'd escape out the bedroom window, everything.
I put my foot through when Charlie was younger. Before obviously I'd calmed down more. I put my foot through I think it was a huddle at the time. It was the Tesco's huddles. And she's like, this is rubbish. And I didn't have a lot of money at the time. I was working a lot of hours. I was a lifeguard and a swim teacher at the time. And I'm like, you ungreat. And it just come over me and I just took it and I just snapped it in my foot. And I had to go back. And then one time, a friend came round to the house and she was being bullied. My daughter was bullying her. And that's my worst thing you could ever do. Do a lot of things, lie, cheat, or steal, or be a bully, and your ass isn't going to touch. And I was going nuts. I was like, you were brought up like that. It's the worst of the lowest of the low. And I cut the plug off her telly, and I cut the plug off her Xbox, and I cut the plug off something else. I can't remember. I think it was a lamp. I don't know why I did that. But went crazy, and I'm down the stairs, and the kids, my younger two kids' dads, I was still with him at times, like, the fuck you got to do now? I was like, fuck knows, but you better shut up and all. I was so angry that she her. And her and that girl are best friends now. They're best friends, have been best friends, but I think it's because we both addressed it. But our stepmom came to my door when Charlie's obviously her stepdad was in, and they didn't go on anyway. And she came to the door and she said, Charlie's done this, and he tried not to give authority. And then obviously when he did give authority, he bloody went too far with shouting and everything else, right? Because that's why we didn't work out. Yeah. But anyway, so the woman comes to the door and she just gives a mouth for a cheek in front of Scott, and he's just like, she's not mine. And that was his answer. You know, he was like, I can't do it, she's not mine. You know what I mean? And then when I came in, I just went nuts and then marched her around. I mean, I was like, they're best friends now, but it was just a learning curve to teach her that you don't treat people like that ever. She was only young.
I mean, good lesson. And like Sally said, Linda said, we should write a book. I don't think I've ever been angry enough without thinking through, is this going to cost me money in the long run? Is this going to cause me grief in the long run? And if so, I'm like, I can't.
But that's my mum pointed out today. My mum says she'll still remember, because I loved my music. I still love my music. I mean, I'm 39 and people can hear me before they see me in my town with my music in the car, right? So I've always loved my music. It's been my escape. My mum said I used to just sit with the hi-fi up in my room and I would just inch it, and she would hear it inching louder and louder, right? And she'd scream, get that fucking down, right? So then this time she'd totally had enough and she went to take my hi-fi. She says, I'd never seen anything like it in my life. She says, so she went to take it. And I'd bought this hi-fi with my money that I'd saved off by working in the ice cream van, right? So my mum hadn't even bought it. So that's what was annoying me more. I'm like, you can't take off something that's not fucking yours, right? That's what I was thinking, but I was like 14. My mum said she went to grab it, and she says, and that was the first time she'd just seen the madness coming over in my eyes. And I just put it in the floor and I jumped all over the top of it, right? Jumped all over it at 14 and then just picked it up calmly and handed it to my mum. And she's like, what are you doing, you maniac? I says, Belle, see if you put something that's broken for 2 weeks, I'm not going to miss it. I was that time. You did that. My mum washed the wrong jeans one time. And I put my head through my bedroom door.
Yeah, you got issues. You got issues.
We've all been for counselling. We've made them into comedy. We're all right, and there's no doors hurting or hi-fis hurt anymore. But
we're comedians for a reason.
Honestly, somebody would annoy me, and I couldn't find them, because at that time I would have pasted them. But if I couldn't find them, I would go in my own house as an adult, Charlie be away at dad's or whatever, and I would wreck my own living room and then cry because I'd need to tidy it. So I was that person. A child, I get it, because I was that. You can take it off me, but it won't be working when you've got it. You know what I mean?
I'll make sure it's completely unusable.
But yeah, we've done it again. Look at the time cable behind there going, we will get these books written. Me and Cerys will get books written. We're wonderful. I mean, once Cerys realises how wonderful she was, she'll have 3 books, but we're getting there. We'll work that out. I mean,
our autobiographies alone would be worth the reading, let alone our shared tips on life in general.
Exactly. But anyway, I've been Dee Maxwell. You've been
Cerys Nelmes.